Once again, a referee in charge. Now to give instructions, Robert Bird.
Okay, gentlemen, you had your instructions in the dressing room. The only thing I'm going to remind you of now is when I say stop, what that means is you stop whatever you're doing, you give me a clean break. Protect yourselves at all times, obey my commands at all times. Mr. Johnson, Mr. Green, both of you are world-class professionals. I expect this fight to be clean and competitive, and I will accept nothing less. Go back to your corners.
A must-win scenario for two compadres. Can Allan Green overcome adversity and reboot his career? For Glen Johnson, will the drop in weight or his age be important factors tonight? Always tough, physical, relentless. Is he physically drained, as Green claimed was the reason he struggled against Ward? Remember, it's Johnson's first fight in 10 years at this weight, and he definitely looks like he lost some muscle. You wonder if his strength will be sapped.
Well, Glen Johnson, not a big puncher in any case, but there right away, the signature move of Glen Johnson, ripping the body of Allan Green. Green wants to work the body early against this older fighter who had to lose weight. So we'll see. We may see more body work in this fight than we've seen in a lot of fights recently.
It's important for me with Green to start fast and make Johnson work. I noticed that Johnson came out very, very dry, and he looks a little drawn, but we'll see how that weight affects him tonight.
Johnson in the blue, Green in the black. Green, a decade younger than Johnson, believes youth and athleticism will prevail over experience. Obviously, no wild miss there by Johnson. No secrets between these two. Green knows it would be a mistake to think he could KO Glen Johnson. He's never been down and stopped only once in 66 fights. Green also knows he's got to be first. He's got to throw combination, has to keep his distance. He does have fast hands, and don't forget his left hook.
You know, Glen Johnson so far in this first round has done most of what you expect Glen Johnson to do. He's landed some chopping right hands, some body shots, and the overhand right, which sort of kind of grazed the head of Green. Green's work rate a lot less than Johnson's right now. Oh, wow. That was a nice right by Glen Johnson. Straight punch, too.
Johnson really pouring it on here in the opening round. Johnson wants to dig to the body, take away Green's will, and keep that pressure on. That's his game. You'd think he'd want to put rounds in the bank early. At 41, you don't know what he'll be like in the later rounds.
Well, I'll tell you what, Allan Green was on cruise control there for a minute. He was looking real good, dictating the round with his jab, but that right hand came out of nowhere. That reminded me of the night he knocked Roy Jones out with that same right hand.
Johnson known for his work rate and high punch count, but Green feels that has diminished with age. Not in this round.
See, just the first round, the texture of this fight favors Johnson right now. But again, long way to go, and there are those other factors to be considered. But Allan Green, you know, he's coming off a fight where he's not going to have a lot of confidence.
Johnson continues to look the sharper of the two here in round one. And remember, he comes off an exhausting 12-round fight with Tavoris Cloud just 3 months ago. But how do you turn down this opportunity? He had to get down and weight in a relatively short period of time. That had to be quite challenging. It's just never easy to look good against Glen Johnson. Let's get to the keys to victory, Al.
For Glen Johnson, one of the things he always wants to do is get on the inside. Didn't do that much in round one, but still won it. He wants to make Allan Green work in this fight because Allan Green likes to have a nice, easy pace, cruise control, as Antonio put it, and he did that in round number one. Now, for Glen Johnson, he's got to set a fast pace, but not so fast that in those later rounds, this 41-year-old can't keep the work rate up. Allan Green cannot get against the ropes where Johnson will rip his body and his head. And the plan for Allan Green, and his trainer said it, was to work the body early. So far, he hasn't done much of that. And he's got to stop Glen Johnson's advancement. By that, I mean land something significant to keep Johnson from fighting off his chest. Well, in the first round, Johnson used the overhand right effectively. This was a straighter right hand than we're used to seeing him throw, and it was a significant punch.
Good opening round for 41-year-old Glen Johnson. who's trying to make this a fight for the aged. Round 2.
One of the things that's already happening in this fight is that Glen Johnson doesn't have the greatest jab in boxing, but it's a pesky jab, and he's committed to throwing it, and he's really kind of out-jabbing Green in a lot of respects.
I have to disagree with that, Al. I see that Green has been scoring with his jab consistently, and he controlled most part of that first round. Outside of those 2 hard right hands he got hit with, you may want to give that round to
You didn't see
Johnson.
the small print in the contract.
Yeah, that's
You're not
right.
allowed to disagree with that.
I'm shocked that you didn't see that. This is not the first time he's done that, either. Yeah, I know what you're saying. It's interesting, though, but he uses that jab Johnson as a setup, and we'll see how it goes here.
Johnson, as mentioned, pushed Cloud to the brink in a punishing fight. Before that, an impressive 6th round TKO over Yusuf Mack, in which he had 3 knockdowns. Former IBF Light Heavyweight champion, 7 world title fights. So obviously the experience factor to the man in blue, Glen Johnson. Johnson just keeps coming at you.
And Green is using the jab, it's true, but my concern about the Green jab is it's not stopping the advancement of Johnson. And of course, if he lands enough of them, obviously it's going to put rounds in the bank for him.
Have you ever seen a jab stop the advancement of Johnson?
No, I have not.
That's the problem.
That's true.
He eats those jabs. But
You better throw something else with it, yeah.
One thing that Allan Green has to do is he's getting lazy with that jab. He needs to double up, because definitely Johnson is trying to time him over the top of that right hand.
There's Johnson jabbing great. And the other thing is Allan Green just threw some good combinations, and he needs to do that. Like that.
Bouncing off the ropes, and Johnson got him as he ricocheted back. There's a good combination upstairs by Green. Now he's starting to open up a little more. Green's main power source, the left hook, excellent weapon. He'll lead with it. And watch for the hook out of clinches. It's dangerous, but he's got to throw it with commitment.
Now, this is where Green wants to pitch camp. I mean, this is the type of fight that gives him the best opportunity to win. Absolutely. But he just can't get careless. And Al, something we never touched on, Allan Green is relatively inexperienced in fights like this. He's only had the 1 fight with Andre Ward. Outside of that, he's never been to this level.
Boy, you are so right. Yeah.
Look at the, if you compare opposition, Glen Johnson by far.
Oh, yeah, and really the times and what people have criticized when Green gets this level, sometimes he frequently fails. He had a good 2nd round, though, Allan Green.
Interested spectator in the arena, undefeated IBF Super Middleweight champion Lucien Boutte, who recently signed a multi-fight agreement with Showtime, and we'll be speaking with Lucien later in our broadcast.
You turn it over or under, you hear me? Over or under, all right? Take a deep breath, come on. How you feel, champ? Legs good? You look sharp. Your hand speed is there, baby. Take a deep breath. Look. We got 12 rounds. We ain't looking for a knockout. It'll come. All right, take your time. Take a deep breath for me.
You got that round?
Yeah, we got that round. We got
fire. You put him on the ropes every time you do that. Doing good work, kid. Doing good work. We need the head movement. Give me the head movement and stay to the body. All right? It looks like he's faded. He's faded a little bit. He got no fire. It's in there. All right, Glenn, move the head. Move the head, G. Get that head moving.
Johnson's longtime trainer, Orlando Cuellar. As we enter into round 3, scheduled for 12, the winner in this Super 6 elimination fight goes to the tournament semifinals. Boy, Green continues to hammer away even after referee Robert Byrd told him to stop.
Orlando Cuellar with a very important piece of advice to Glen Johnson: move your head. And Johnson's doing it. When he comes in, he needs to move his head.
Johnson continues to invent ways to continue his amazing longevity. When he's inside, he creates angles to try not to be hit too cleanly. That's one of the ways.
And he takes care of himself. Doesn't drink, doesn't smoke. As he said, bad habits are not a part of his regimen in life.
Well, one of your keys to victory you mentioned for Allan Green was go to the body early. And the reason that he needs to do that, just in case this weight loss has affected Johnson in any way, he can really slow him down, but he hasn't committed to the body.
No, you're right. And you know, when Allan Green's throwing these combinations, he's very effective.
Johnson in the blue, not a devastating puncher, but a skilled boxer. Punches like a jackhammer, just no let up.
One thing I can see about Johnson, this pressure, you know, not only, ooh, that's a good body shot. Not only this pressure hurts you physically, but it wears you down mentally as well. And, you know, a lot of people have questioned how mentally strong can Allan Green be at this level. So he's going to have to really slow Johnson down if he wants to take advantage of this fight.
And Johnson just keeps that steady, methodical pace. Round after round, it just accumulates.
Now in this round, Allan Green's landed some pretty nice shots as Green has been coming in. There's a perfect example of it. And the lateral movement of Green has helped him. Oh my, big uppercut.
Under a minute in round 3.
I got you. Come on, step out.
And another thing that's important, when you have a sparring partner, if you spar many, many rounds with a guy, you know, Allan Green knows what to expect. So there's no, you know, like surprises in Glen Johnson's game plan tonight. So he may be a little bit more comfortable in there with Johnson rather than any other opponent.
And yeah, he had been training for Mikkel Kessler originally, and then it switched to Johnson. Kessler with a completely different approach than Johnson. There's Johnson digging to the body on the inside. Green comes back. And Johnson then firing away to the body and to the head. Quick flurry by Glen Johnson. What a finish to the round by the veteran. And Green looks discombobulated. He's on unsteady legs.
In a round that he was winning handily, Allan Green.
Look at...
Stop the legs. Stop the legs. No, look here. Take a deep breath, man. You got to step away from that right hand. How you feel? Look at me. You all right? You sure? Huh? You all right? Yeah. Okay, then. Come on.
Well, early in this round, Allan Green doing what we said would be effective for him, the nice combination work to both the head and the body. So early in that round, Allan Green was very effective. And then he came with this excellent uppercut that landed very well against Johnson, but it unraveled in the final seconds of the round. Now that was a back of the head punch. I'm not sure that was a legal punch that hurt Allan Green, but nevertheless he was hurt by it. And then Glen Johnson teeing off and Allan Green on unsteady legs as the round ended.
It took Green about 10 seconds just to sit down on his stool.
Yeah, his body language looked terrible. I mean, he hung over the ropes for about 10, 15 seconds. He slumped over in his stool. He has to get mentally strong, and he has to get his hands up. You cannot afford to give a fighter like Glen Johnson these type of opportunities.
Glen Johnson, the sentimental favorite, with an inspirational final few seconds of that last round. Green was just totally disoriented. And now Green just holding on to Johnson.
And you know, the question about that blow to the back of the head or side of the head, I think that's the one that hurt him. But Antonio made a great point. That's not going to happen to you if you are, in fact, keeping your hands up.
Yeah, and it looks as if he's leaning too much to the left and giving Glen Johnson these opportunities. And again, that punch was in the back of the head. It started it. But it was those vicious body shots that really took something out of Allan Green.
And Robert Byrd continues to admonish Green for holding and for trying to tie Johnson up.
Hands are free.
He's just trying to buy time here to clear the cobwebs. And another right hand to the head by Johnson.
Allan Green getting a warning from Robert Byrd for holding. And you get the feeling Allan Green's buying some time here to try and clear himself.
Minute and a half, round 4. And it's all Glen Johnson now.
Well, Allan Green does not want to work at all on the inside, and of course that's Johnson's office right there, isn't it?
Oh, it is, and this is a phone booth. You know, this is the type of pressure that breaks an average man. So you have to be able to withstand this and fight back. He has to fight fire with fire right now.
How discouraging this must be for Allan Green, because he's trying to hammer away, but Johnson can take a punch so well. He's so resilient. Very hard to hurt him.
And remember in the last round, which to be honest, I would still give to Allan Green, even with that last flurry by Johnson, Allan Green had it going his way. Now there's that beautiful combination punching by Green that was so effective.
Now, this is what we want to see from Allan Green. He's weathered the storm now. Now he's coming back. He's firing combination. Can he keep this going? Can he get that momentum that he needs right now to take over this fight?
Also, the tight, high guard of Glen Johnson that he's so famous for frustrates younger fighters, and then he turns up the offense. Cautioning from Robert Byrd for the fighters to pick up the punches too low.
Stop. Allan, he's holding me too.
Well, he's going to take a point away soon if Allan Green continues to hold. Well, coming up tonight, right after boxing, it's an encore presentation of Inside NASCAR, plus new episodes every Wednesday at 10 p.m.
Yeah, Michael Waltrip racing on Sunday, then raced back to the set to get on the show. That shows you how important the show is. They want to get on the show, and Jimmy Johnson this year with a little competition for a change.
Kind of nice to call your own highlights, huh?
Yeah, there you go.
Look at it. Keep it tight.
Hey, told him over there about.
Thank you, Bert.
He got me on this side. That's my grandma.
Come out. Yes, sir.
I told him over there about the head. Watch his head.
Okay,
You gotta
yes,
stop
sir.
your holding now. Stop your holding.
Turn and turn. Slip and slide. Look here. When you take him a loop, drop your right hand. Take a quarter of a step over, Green. When you just turn and drop your right hand left foot. Because he's getting tired. You're weighing him down and he's tired. He's tired.
Stay sharp.
Look at him. He's tired.
Round 5 scheduled for 12. A Super 6 eliminator. The winner goes to the Super 6 semifinals. The loser eliminated from the tournament. Big pace here.
Free up your hands.
I actually gave that last round to Allan Green. He came back real strong. He landed some combination.
Now these numbers are significant. The numbers thrown are significant. Glen Johnson, as usual, with a work rate much higher than his opponent. If he doesn't do that, he can't possibly win.
And so much for Allan Green believing that the work rate has diminished.
Yeah, unless it does later in the fight, but right now, no. It's Johnson's throwing a lot of punches. But the question is, and what Antonio said about the last round speaks to it, are they effective enough for him to win these rounds?
You have to be thinking that Allan Green is thinking, get this into the later rounds. That's his best chance.
But again, he has to invest in that body work, and I just don't see that he's doing that. I mean, Glen Johnson can fight like this all night. You gotta get his legs weak and make that weight loss be a disadvantage for him right now.
Well, and the question I guess we're going to ask is at this age and this weight, can he do it all night? But right now, I think Johnson looks fresh and shows you that he wants to continue this pace. Now, Allan Green, you talked about the green jab. It's been very good in this round.
Yeah.
It's really been effective.
Stop out.
Johnson continues to try and crowd Green, smother him, pressure him, as he normally does. There's a right hand by Glen Johnson. And that would take away Green's strength, which is letting his hands go.
Free up your hands. Free up. You hold him. Let him go.
You know, Glen Johnson hasn't really been on the inside enough in this fight. When he's there, he's very effective. But I think if he were looking at this tape back again right now, he'd say, man, I need to be inside more.
Well, he did say that's part of his senior citizens program of trying to give himself a reprieve every once in a while.
Yeah, once in a blue moon.
No. Let him up. No.
I don't know, 41 seems young to me. I don't know.
Me too. Amen. It's young for an announcer.
Yeah.
Hands are free, guys.
Antonio's just starting his career now.
Right.
Free up.
There's blood coming from the nose of Allan Green.
I tell you what, you mentioned about switching trainers. It's an old saying. If it's not broke, don't fix it. But it was broke. And he has a new guy in there. You can see that he has a game plan now that Allan Green is really trying to work.
That's a really good point.
as we head for the bell. Right off the top of the head by Johnson. Hey, coming in January, Showtime has the premiere of 2 original series, plus the return of Californication starring David Duchovny.
On January 9th,
We got Matt LeBlanc.
For the erudite, verbally dexterous headmaster, you're suggesting Joey?
Matt LeBlanc stars in episodes. Then, meet the Gallaghers. William H. Macy and Emmy Rossum star in a new series about a family that's absolutely, wildly, unapologetically shameless. It all starts January 9th, following the season premiere of Californication, only on Showtime.
Play with him up top, drop downstairs and hit them body shots, like we did in the gym. Okay, you good, come on. You can do this. We're wearing them down. There your toes, watch your head.
Round out, looks like Glen Johnson is the younger fighter. Allan Green really struggling in again towards the end of that previous round. He got really banged on the top of the head.
And that was one big punch at the end of that round. I don't know if that was enough to win it, but you have to understand, again, quality of opposition. Glen Johnson has been overseas. He's fought champions his whole career. Allan Green just doesn't have that type of he just don't have that type of experience right now.
You know, it's ironic, and we look at some of the power punches thrown. The edge to Johnson, as you would expect. Green is landing more jabs, but it's not a monstrous edge. And good body work by Glen Johnson. The irony is Allan Green certainly has won rounds in this fight. I have him ahead by 1 point. And yet we're talking about him in a slightly negative way, mostly because of, as we said, the body language and the way he hasn't been able to finish these rounds.
And I tell you what, these rounds continue to be close like this, and it goes to decision, and Glen Johnson doesn't get the decision. He's going to really look at himself, because if anybody can get hurt in this fight, he's proven that he can hurt Allan Green. He has to step on that gas pedal and hope for this knockout to assure his semifinal berth in the Super 6.
And Glen Johnson, of course, has that hard luck tag following him into this fight.
Okay, here we go.
Johnson compared by some to Dick Tiger, who fought in the late 50s and early 60s. Both middleweights who won titles at 175. The difference, Tiger was a middleweight before moving up. Johnson challenged Bernard Hopkins for the middleweight belt, but lost. But with both Johnson and Tiger, their careers didn't take off until they matured.
Well, that's a great analogy.
Yeah, Johnson was a better fighter in his 30s than he was in his 20s, and now in his 40s, he's was a legitimate contender at light heavyweight.
Free up your hands.
This round has been one in which Johnson has started to stake his claim a little bit again after the last round, which I thought Green, for the most part, controlled. And the body work by Johnson's been really effective here in this round.
Right, what else is new with Glen Johnson? Oh, Johnson teeing it up again.
You know, Orlando Cuera, the trainer Johnson, felt Johnson would be a little quicker and a little more agile at this lower weight. I don't know if we've seen that exactly, but, you know, he's showing different angles of trying to get in any case.
Free up.
Johnson has mastered this craft of just ramming right hands off the head. Beautiful right hand. Oh, was that fast by Johnson?
Yeah, and you know, he can't miss with the right hand. And it's unfortunate that Allan Green will not get that left hand up. He's carrying it too low. You know, if you're going to do that, move to the opposite side of this guy's power.
So here in round 6, another impressive sequence for the Road Warrior, Glen Johnson.
Hey, look here. You gotta keep them damn hands up, man. Keep them hands up. You let this man get too close to you, Green. When he comes stepping to, let your combination go. They don't have to be hard. Stop looking for a knockout. Let your hands go. What up? All right? Take it to him, baby. Let your hands go. Come on. Let your hands go, baby. Come on. Take a deep breath for me. Get that water. You know what I mean? You letting him do this little bullshit. You ain't got to. All right? Come on. Let's be smart, man. The longer it goes, they're getting tired. It's the 7th round. You know.
Glen Johnson using the jab as a rangefinder, which he often does, and then throwing a very nice combination there. But this one was the money one. Again, the right hand following the jab. Good work on the inside.
Oh, and he's following that up with some mean, vicious body shots. I mean, this is the type of work that we expect from Glen Johnson. He has to put his foot on the gas to see if he can get this stoppage tonight.
Allan Green looking discouraged as we enter round 7, halfway through.
In what we should point out is an extremely close fight.
Watch your shoulder, Allan.
Well, press row scoring. We have Gerardo Fernandez from Primera Hora in Puerto Rico, Brett Okamoto from the Las Vegas Sun, and Salvador Rodriguez, Diario Record from Mexico.
I have it dead even 57-57.
I have it dead even 3 rounds apiece. And so, you know, in front row, I mean, press row is right on.
Yeah. Well, or we're all wrong, depending on how the judges are seeing it. There's that short chopping right hand by Green in the inside. We haven't seen much of that.
And again, he's had an effective jab this round, but I have to commend his corner. He's getting perfect advice. He has to go out and execute it, though.
Beautiful double left hook to the body and jaw by Glen Johnson, who just continues to stop Green.
And I'll tell you what the wild card in this fight is. Green has held and held and held, and Robert Byrd is a very fine referee, has warned him several times. It could be a big, big thing if a point's taken away in this fight.
Just that close.
Another right hand. Just look at where Allan Green left hand's at. He's inviting the right hand. He can't miss with it.
Another one off the top of the noggin by Johnson. Then he digs with the left of the body, then to the right shoulder of Allan Green.
And you know, Glen Johnson's getting a lot of leverage with that left hook to the body. We're seeing a little bit of a subtle change in this fight, the last round and this round. Look at how much more often Johnson is on the inside now.
But now you see Allan Green's following his corner's instructions. They don't have to be hard. Just land. Just land punches, and it'll set something up, believe me.
Green in the black trunks, Johnson in the blue. At stake, a berth in the Super 6 semifinals. Body shot. Nice left hand there by Allan Green.
And he has to keep those little combinations up. You'll be surprised what he can open up and maybe hurt Johnson with.
That was the best work inside Allan Green has done in this fight by far.
Has the tide turned? Oh, just as I say that, beautiful left hook by Johnson. Back comes Green with a right hand. Some really fiery exchanges here in round 7.
From both fighters. From both fighters.
Yeah.
It's evolving into a terrific encounter.
But again, look at that left hand. It is really, you know, you can anticipate that right hand coming over the top of it because Allan has it down so low.
Final seconds of round 7.
A tough round to score, let me tell you.
Got a bell, guys.
Glen Johnson is a good combination puncher. There are sometimes different looking combinations, sometimes awkwardly thrown, but he will throw combinations, and we see evidence of it. Again, it starts with the jab and that overhand right hand and the hook. That's his combination of choice. Of course, it's a traditional one in boxing, but he paused with the jab but lands it. There it is, and then he rips that left hand on the inside to the body and keeps ripping it to the body. Then while he had Allan Green on the ropes, throws this punch. Now that was a legal punch, but it landed on the side of the head and affected the equilibrium of Allan Green.
And that's the right hook now. He's, you know, he's been throwing overhand rights, but then inside he was smart enough to throw a sharp, crisp left hook that landed right on the chin.
So things continue to get interesting as we enter round 8, scheduled for 12. Coming off a very tight round.
That round was tight, even though we had a lot of highlights of Johnson.
Yeah, no, very close round.
Both guys. Oh, down goes Allan Green. Looked like a right hand, the right crush. Allan Green is down.
7, 8.
He gets up barely at 8. And it's over. Robert Byrd has stopped the fight here in round 8. Allan Green is knocked down and being embraced by his friend, being consoled by Glen Johnson.
Let me sit.
Glenn, let him go. Let him go, Glenn.
I need to know what he said to you.
What?
Green disoriented, perhaps complaining that Johnson's shot was on the back of the head. It may have been to the side of the head. We'll see later. But Glen Johnson has done it.
He's done it.
He's in the Super 6 semifinals.
Well, let's get judged for ourselves. What happened with this? I believe it's a right hand. Well, it did come to the side and back of the head. Now that second right hand was very legal, but the first one, you can make a case. It landed near the back of the head.
It landed in the back of the head, but Allan Green was leaning down. I mean, we're in a fight. You know what I mean? You got to keep your chin up.
Well, if he has the wherewithal to argue with the referee, he should have been able to get up, I would think.
No, he was out. His equilibrium was gone, and it was a clean right hand over the top. We knew it was coming. He landed that punch all night. He leaning right there. We're in a fight. I mean, are you not supposed to throw that punch out?
You're absolutely right. And it was marginal when you look at it from another angle. And you're right. He created that, Allan Green. So that's correct. And this all speaks to the pressure of Glen Johnson. And you're right. He's leaning way down there. You got to throw a right hand at him.
You know, he was avoiding the overhand right, but he didn't avoid it in the correct way. He should have kept his left hand up. And when he look at this tape, he can go back to the gym and correct on some things. But Allan Green, I mean, he gets knocked out tonight, and he never was able to reach that plateau of an A fighter.
And let me tell you a key point here. Glen Johnson gets 3 points for this knockout.
Oh, boy.
He's now in a position where he might vault into third place in the rankings. God bless him, the Road Warrior, who, you know, universally loved in boxing for the most part. And
you know, it's a good break that happened to a great guy who have had some, you know, some bad knocks in the game.
His first fight at 168 in a decade. 41-year young Glen Johnson is going to the Super 6 semifinals. Before we get the official announcement on this opening bout, let's remind you that we're coming to you from beautiful Las Vegas, Nevada, the MGM Grand Hotel and Casino. Still to come, we'll preview the upcoming Super 6 fight with a look at Arthur Abraham and Carl Froch as they get ready for their showdown November 27th. We'll show you what else is ahead on Showtime Sports in the coming weeks. Then it's our main event of the evening, the WBO Featherweight Championship between Juan Manuel Lopez and Rafael Marquez. That's all coming up as Showtime Championship Boxing continues. But right now, we're set for that official word from our ring announcer, Jimmy Lennon Jr.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have the time of 36 seconds in round number 8. Our referee in charge, Robert Byrd, reaches the count of 10. He is the winner by way of knockout, continuing to the semifinals of the Super 6 World Boxing Classic, the Road Warrior Glen Johnson.
Yes, indeed. That long and winding road will lead to the Super 6 semifinals. What a way to start this doubleheader. What a story. 41-year-old Glen Johnson, just like that, in contention for the Super 6 trophy.